Welcome back, guys, to Sasquatch Garage. Today we're going to be back on the kids' four-wheeler. We were doing some test runs with it. We ended up marking out 300 foot out in the back 40. And after a few test runs and him riding around playing with it, it exploded the belt. So the cheap Chinese kit from Amazon, the belts don't hold up. Keep that in mind if you're going to buy one. We ended up picking up some Comet belts, which are name brand, said to be higher quality. They look exactly the same. Here's your part number if you need to order one. So we're going to change that out. He has worn out the rear brakes already, which this quad was used when we got it, so they were already half gone. Not a big deal. I ordered some more. They change a bunch of things on these four-wheelers apparently, because I ordered them for a Teo Teo 110, which is what this was, and they're wrong. I can modify them and make them work. The holes are just a little too small, so we're gonna have to drill those out on the drill press. Not a big deal. Let's see, what else? I do have a set of new rear tires coming. Much smaller version of the whole shot four-wheeler tires. They have the X pattern tread on them. And those should be here on the 28th, I believe. Again, ordered them on Amazon. It was like 40 bucks for a set of them. And I was looking the other day, his white four-wheeler that he's got, I don't remember if you guys seen that in the video or not. If not, you should go back and watch it. That one has 8-inch rims on it compared to the 6-inch rims on this one. The 8-inch rims we can get paddle tires for, so I'm really thinking about taking the engine off that quad. I know it runs good. It is pretty cold-blooded, but once it's running, it runs good. I've played with the carburetor a little bit. I can't get it to run perfect though. It only idles for a little while and then dies. So I thought about ripping the engine off that one, getting potentially a Predator Ghost engine, which is Predator's racing version of the 212, and another torque converter setup, and then throwing paddles on that one, and then we'll switch them over to racing that one. Bigger rims, bigger tires, more speed, more power with the Ghost motor. All around better for him. This one, when we were doing test hits out in the back 40, he was on grass with bald tires, and I was timing him with my phone, but he did run consecutively right around 9 seconds, which the fastest they can run in the Pee Wee division is going to be 8 seconds. So he's right on that line. A few tweaks and adjustments, and I think we could have him right close to that 8 seconds, which is awesome. Again, this is bracket racing. He doesn't have to go that fast if he doesn't want to. If he feels unsafe, whatever, he doesn't have to go that fast. He can let off whenever he wants. So, is what it is. Let's go ahead and rip the belt off of this one. We'll get the new one put on, and then we'll get to modifying those brake pads. Unfortunately, he doesn't have his helmet, so I don't know if I'm going to let him test drive it today. It's a little too fast to be riding without a helmet. If it was slower, I'd cut him some slack, but it's not worth chancing. There it is. What's left of a belt. 30 series. Maybe we should have gone with the 40 series. I didn't think he was going to be making that kind of power. Of course, that was before the new carburetor. I didn't video putting that on, unfortunately. I'll get you guys a view of it here in a little bit. It's a 22mm carb right off Amazon. It's like 40 bucks, came with the throttle cable, and it really woke this thing up. So that's what'll happen with the cheap Chinese belt. If you're making any kind of added power with the Predator 212, I suggest getting a name brand one like Comet. Comet's what we always had on our go-karts when I was a kid. I don't ever remember my dad changing the belt on those, so. That missed, by the way.
Dad, can I help in the YouTube video?
Maybe. These are directional, So just keep an eye on that when you're installing it. Okay. I'm gonna pull that front clutch apart. I was hoping I could just spin it in there, but it's not wanting to fit. All right, I had a little bit of a struggle in getting that new belt on. At first I thought it was the wrong belt. Ears were getting hot, we were turning red. Turns out it's the right belt, but the primary clutch on the engine, when you over rev them and or free rev them, the clutch weights inside, they just expand out, and that's what pushes the clutch. So when you do that, they can over expand, and then they go out and get off of their, I don't know, the guide channel that holds them in place. And that's what had happened. It had jumped forward, so when I went to tighten the clutch back down, it was squeezing the belt as if it was engaged. So that's what I was fighting with. I ended up just taking this outer cover off. You just pull that bolt, and just the outer cover can come off. Grabbed those weights and pulled them and moved them back into their groove. Not a big deal. Got it all set in place now. Let's get started on the brakes and see what all we got to modify on those. Okay, so you do still have to remove the whole caliper. It's just 2 bolts. Caliper bracket comes off. And then once that's off, you can swing the brake pads over and take them off. Easy peasy. All right, the new brake pads have a square hole. These ones have a round hole. They are the same exact thing, just different holes. So let's make these not square. And voila, round holes, brand new pads. Perfect. Little springs that go in between the pads, the ears on them, to keep the pads pressed apart so they don't drag when you're riding. Voila, just like that. It looks like somebody overfilled the brake fluid. It wasn't me, I swear. Because when I compressed that caliper more, the reservoir didn't have enough room in it, and some of the fluid come shooting out the cap, but it'll be fine. Get you guys a closer look at his new carburetor. He really likes gold, so we got him the gold one. Comes with that adapter, bolts on where the old one used to. Comes with a new filter, new fuel line, and a fuel filter. We are going to put a pre-filter on this one, especially with it being right by the tire. I'm also going to make a shroud for it. We'll just use some aluminum and some rivets to keep the sand off it and water and whatever else. But trick I learned from my dad and my cousins for keeping sand out of your filter, even with a pre-filter, is back when they had their buggies, they would actually go down to the dollar store and buy pantyhose and put that over their pre-filter, and that'll keep the sand out. It's such a fine material, it can still breathe through it just fine, and it'll keep the sand particles out. So we're going to give that a rip and just do our best to keep as much sand out of that as possible. Obviously you don't want sand in your motor because that's not going to end well. I'm going to fire it up and rotate it a few times to get the belt to come out of the secondary a little bit. It's kind of wedged in there and it's tight on the motor. So let's roll that over a few times and then get it reassembled. Alright, I went and cruised it around in the field a little bit. Try to wear that belt out just a little bit. It's just a little too tight. I don't know if there's anything we can do about that because the distance between the primary and secondary, you can't change it. So I think it's just going to have to get broke in. As long as it doesn't get broken, you know, we're good. So I'm just going to throw the plastics on it. Nothing exciting. And then make a little shield for that carburetor, which I'll show you guys next weekend when we're at Test and Tune. May 3rd, Test and Tune, Green's Drag Strip. Be there, be square, you know. And thanks for tuning into this short video. I'm hoping this weekend to get El Chapo back up here in the shop and get the fuel lines finished up and some running boards, if you will. Steps to help us get up in and out. And then check the fluids, top everything off if needed, and hopefully have her out at Test and Tune as well. If not, I'll just run my four-wheeler. It is what it is. But we're really going to try to get El Chapo out there for Test and Tune. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It would really help the channel. We are inching closer and closer to that 1,000 subscribers goal each day. And it would really mean a lot. So thanks for tuning in to Sasquatch Garage, and get your backside trackside.